Today our group will be presenting a topic on analysis of business environment in Kosovo. Our group is composed of me, Lera Moti, Ariana Selmani, Agnesa Broci, Nora Havoli, and Shpresa Kastrati. Let's go with the next slide, which is the agenda for this presentation. On top of this slide, we see unfavorable business environment. First of all, I would like to define what a business environment is. Business environment is the external and internal factors that influence business decisions and that are uncontrollable in nature. So it is an open system that continuously reacts with its environment. But today we are going to talk about business environment of Kosovo. Due to our analysis, we have concluded that our business environment is unfavorable. Why? Because of many indicators, but today we're going to mention only the four main ones which we think are weak law enforcement, weak infrastructure, weak public administration, and weak system of education. In the end, we will try to give recommendations and ideas of how we can improve the situation. I will explain briefly of what we are going to talk during this presentation. Okay. Here, I'll start with weak law enforcement. Here we're going to talk about the inefficiency of courts and how the court's decisions last with years. Corruption is most often evident, and people, they do not have incentive to invest in a country with such a legal system. Another important indicator is weak infrastructure. So, good infrastructure is a key ingredient for sustainable growth, for sustainable development. But unfortunately, in Kosovo, we do face a weak infrastructure, and no one would like to invest in a country where there are present lack of investments, lack of electricity, lack of roads, etc. Another important indicator is weak public administration. Here, all analyzed data have shown that our public administration functions poorly, and this comes because people are not trained for that particular job. So here we face lack of trainings and also political pressure, which is very important to mention for the business environment here in Kosovo. On the other side, worker side, they do not have incentive to do their best, to work as much efficient and effective that they can because of their low wages. The last but not least one is weak system of education, where we will explain how our system of education works and how do we face the bad conditions, etc. In the end, all of my colleagues will continue and talk for each of these clearly and more, but in the end, Ariana will try to give recommendations and ideas of how we can improve this current situation of business environment. The next presenter who will take the floor and talk you more about weak law enforcement is Shpresa Kastrati. Thank you.
The weak law enforcement, another most important indicator that directly affects the unfavorable business environment is weak law enforcement. Taking into account that Kosovo has two-type courts regarding the business environment or regarding the business issues, is the first level is commercial court, and the second level is a Supreme Court, which is the one who is appeal court on the decision of the court, of the commercial court. The other thing that let's say, implication that we saw with implementation of the law is not effective. Although government of Kosovo have already invested or give effort to the law infrastructure, it is very important to say that they drafted the law on trade, the law on internal trade, external trade, foreign investments. They drafted also the fair competition law and a lot of other law that try to regulate the issue of the business environment. But unfortunately, those laws are only on paper, and the implementation is a magic word. What else we saw during our analysis since we visited the Kosovo Juridical Council report, we saw that there are huge figures of cases in the commercial court, starting from numbers of the cases already inherited from other periods of times of the court, and this is the inherited one, 2,492, and God knows they are inherited from maybe 4 or 5 years ago. And what is more important to say, it's 2,651 cases that will move forward to next period, next years. God knows how many years will go until these cases will be judged by the judges. What else we saw it, a legal system is corrupted. If you see the dispute resolution into this table here, which is also the source came from the Kosovo Juridical Council. It's second quarter of 2012, they received 129 unsolved cases, so inherited cases. And if you see the other one, the 150 cases are received during the second quarter of 2012. And total cases in process are 265. Sold during this quarter period is 123, and total unsold, still for next period, they will come to 162. And the issue is that people and businesses have definitely lost their trust on the legal system, and they already have the impression that it is definitely corrupted. Because the cases that are sold are usually linked with some government or businesses that are linked with the government, and a lot of other corruptions that are going on in this place. The businesses definitely and indeed have lost their faith on contract enforcement. And now I will invite Agnesa to continue with the other indicators.
Another indicator that makes our business unfavorable is the weak infrastructure. Nobody wants to invest in a place with weak infrastructure. This comes as a result of lack of public investments, such as investing in business incubators and industrial zones, investing on fiscal policies, and supporting small and medium enterprises. This comes as lack of electricity. Electricity is one of the conditions that every state should provide to those who want to invest, but our capabilities to produce and provide electricity are limited. Also, the weak infrastructure comes as the lack of transportation and telecommunication facilities. This makes the transport easier and more efficient, but when we have lack of them, investors are pushed away. So, our government should improve the whole investment infrastructure. Another indicator that makes our business unfavorable is weak public administration. Public administration is about communicating with the people, investors, helping them and providing facilities for them. But in Kosovo, it happens the contrary. And the best example is the delay that they get on getting licenses and permissions. This comes by the government intervention on setting minimum wages. The minimum wages limit the employment of qualified resources. But the low wages also indicate those people, those employees that are working. Another indicator is political pressure. Those people who have contributed into political parties have gained now a place in work, so we have here nepotism. And all these consequences were supposed to be improved with trainings for those people, but there is a lack of trainings too. Why? Because our politicians are more interested to fulfill their corrupted activities than to train the employees. So government should invest on training the human resources, so to have professional contribution towards a better environment. Now I invite Nora to take the floor.
Thank you, Agnesa. I'm going to talk about weak system education inherited problems versus new reforms. Knowing that our teachers had worked in a communist system for like 15 years, adapting to new reforms was and is still impossible. Even though that there was a lot of trainings on adopting new reforms, there is still place for improving in schooling and education. Another reason is that there are no investment in educational infrastructure. There are a lot of new schools built, and mostly in rural parts, where the number of students is small compared with big cities like capital Pristina, where the students have to study in 4 shifts. Indeed, there should be investments in increasing the number of schools in big cities. Another reason is learning and working conditions for children and educators are low. Education is a key to the future of any country. All countries see education as a priority. Education and it's still going to be one of the most important thing of any government. However, our government is still underestimating our teachers that had contributed a lot in our country. Teachers are both underpaid and underemployed. Lack of modern learning materials on all educational levels. We know that our schools have bad condition for our students. There are limited number of schools that provide students with libraries, laboratories, and other tools that students would need to practice in order to be part of labor market. A school that have all required tools will have a better satisfied staff and students. This will affect in better teaching and better learning. I will invite Ariana. Thank you.
Thank you, Nora. According to the arguments previously shown to you, based on analysis on business environment of Kosovo, we can conclude that Kosovo has unfavorable business environment. As such, it pledges to keeping away foreign direct investments, who are one of the main factors who can improve Kosovo economic welfare. For the same reasons, investments and remittances from our diaspora are decreasing each year. We should have in mind that the amount of remittances which we receive from diaspora just cover our high trade deficit. Due to low investment and not skilled labor force as a part of unfavorable business environment, we have a high level of unemployment. With one word, we can say that unfavorable business environment led to the regression on overall Kosovo's development. In order to improve this situation, we as a group will recommend as follows. Improve the legislation related to business environment and maximum efforts to law enforcement. By implementing the law, increasing the number of judges and prosecutors by 80% are an important element which can reduce the corruption, because the corruption has been perceived as a main barrier to businesses. The second recommendation will be to strengthen the tie between diaspora and homeland and attract their human and financial investments. Our government should be committed to enroll diaspora in the overall Kosovo's development. Only this way, by offering them a better environment, they can have incentives to invest in their homeland. The third recommendation will be to improve and invest in infrastructure. By this we mean investing in roads, in water supply, electricity. Also utilization of industrial parks and industrial zones is essential. The fourth recommendation will be to eliminate political pressure from public administration and for other public sectors too, and offering the training to the staff, and only this way we could have professionals working and contributing for better environment. The last but not least recommendation will be improvement of educational system. We all know that education itself cannot reduce the unemployment. We should offer special trainings to our labor force in order to meet market demand. But recommendations itself are not enough. They should be also integrated with action. As Joel Parker, famous visionist, used to quote, "Vision without action is merely a dream. Action without vision just passes the time. But vision with action can change the world." Thank you for your attention.